All right, for more on the broader impact of the Middle East conflict, including travel, let's bring in the Transportation Secretary, Sean Duffy. Secretary Duffy, thank you so much for being here today.
It's good to be with you, Peter. Thanks for having me.
So let's start here. The strait's closed, strait's open, strait is closed again. Now there's some bad news from Delta Airlines. There's this Bloomberg story. It says the carrier's fuel prices have doubled in the past month. The quote is, "We have to find ways to get that cost passed through to consumers," Delta CEO Ed Bastian said. It won't happen overnight. Secretary Duffy, that's not good.
Well, so first off, a lot of the carriers are eating the cost increase of jet fuel right now. Good side is we have great supply chains for jet fuel into the U.S. That's not always the story in the rest of the world because of Donald Trump's energy dominance initiatives that he started over a year ago. But yeah, listen, we're having a small spike in jet fuel. But if you look in the out years, we think once this conflict is over, we're going to see jet fuel go lower than it was before the Iran conflict. So yes, a small disruption, hopefully for a short period of time, but in the long run, it becomes cheaper for Americans to travel because of decreased jet fuel prices.
And before we move on to some of the other things your department was doing this week, two of the biggest companies that your department deals with, Ford and GM, have apparently been asked to think about helping the Pentagon out. The New York Times is reporting the Pentagon has met with senior executives of Ford Motor and General Motors to gauge whether the auto industry could help the military acquire vehicles, munitions, or other hardware more quickly and at lower costs. According to three people familiar, the idea is reminiscent of World War II when GM, Ford, and other automakers supplied the military. If the president decides that he needs to compel car companies to help the Pentagon, is that a call you would have to make?
No, this is a conversation between the administration and the car companies, right? We regulate the safety of the vehicles that come out of the car companies. But with that said, I mean, for Pete Hegseth and President Trump to look and say they want to expand the supply chain, the companies that participate in providing equipment to the American people, the American military for national defense, I think is smart, right? We want as many players as possible. Again, when you're in times of peace, you can rely on, your subset of suppliers. But if we see future conflicts, whether it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, making sure we have companies that can participate with us, that we can ramp up and a partner with war, I think that's incredibly smart and visionary of this administration.
Your department, moving on, your department did something really interesting this week. Can you explain why it is that the Transportation Department is looking for the next generation of air traffic controllers in a pack of video gamers?
Right. That might seem odd, Peter, but we polled a random sample of our academy students in Oklahoma City for air traffic control. Of the 250 that we polled, only 3 of them were not gamers. And so we thought, well, listen, there's a connection here. They problem solve, they're spatially aware, they do multiple things at the same time. It's very reminiscent of what air traffic controllers do. And so we reached out to the community. Listen, we blew the socks off any prior record. We had 12,000 applications in 24 hours. 11,000 of those were qualified. We've already sent 8,000 of them to go get their skills test. So again, looking to find the best and the brightest, the best qualified to become air traffic controllers I think this is a sign that, looking at who we attract, who's great at the job. This made sense for us to reach out to the gaming community, and the response has been remarkable. And again, we have a shortage of controllers. We need more controllers in the space. By the way, 3 years in, average controller making $155,000.
Pretty good. And there was some talk in the Doge days about this. Are you guys still thinking about removing some of the human element and staffing concerns and just using AI for air traffic control?
Listen, we're not going to turn our air traffic and human safety in the skies over to computers. That's not going to happen. We're going to continue to see a shortage for several years. But I will tell you, as we've looked at improving the infrastructure around air traffic control, are there tools that make the job easier, less stressful for an air traffic controller? Of course, and that's what we're working on. And one big, beautiful bill from President Trump and Republicans in Congress We got $12.5 billion. That build is already happening, well underway, but surface awareness systems so controllers can see what's happening on the tarmac. Brand new radar, and if you think about this, how much room it took to do the work of a calculator 50 years ago. It might take up half a room of equipment, and today it's in a little calculator, Peter. That's the same thing of the guts of how a radar works. So using new equipment, we've advanced light years since the 70s and the 60s. We're going to buy all new stuff. We're in the process of building those new radar radios. Again, there's a lot of static on the line. The communication between the tower and the aircraft, they're using 30, 40-year-old radios. We already have replaced 250 radios across the NAS, the National Airspace, again, improving the whole system so it's safer and it's going to be more efficient.
And you guys stay busy there at DOT. This week we learned the price that New York is going to pay for not pulling commercial driver's licenses from illegal immigrants. The price is $73 million. Why do you think it is that New York wants truck drivers who might not be able to read the road signs on the road?
Peter, listen, I shake my head. I don't get it. This is not Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal. This is, everybody agrees with safety. And so we audited New York in 53% of the licenses, commercial driver's licenses issued to foreigners. 53% were issued illegally, contrary to our rules. And so usually we give states 30 days to come into compliance. We gave New York 4 months to say, hey, what we want you to do is just go back and audit all of these licenses that you've given, and if you've given them contrary to the rules, we'll revoke that license. And in essence, New York said, go pound sand, DOT. And so this is the first step. We said, okay, we're going to pull the $73 million. There's more money that we can pull as we get to the out months. But in the very end, if New York doesn't comply, we can pull their ability to issue commercial driver's licenses. And it's not a New York issue. As you know, commercial drivers don't stay in New York. They drive across the country. And so you have a state with really good rules, say Oklahoma. These drivers from New York drive truck through Oklahoma and every other state. And so they endanger the families that are going to church like on a Sunday morning like today, or they're going to Walmart to shop. We've seen way too many videos of commercial drivers who can't read road signs like you mentioned. But also, we found a whole slew of fake schools. It's kind of like the Learning Center in Minnesota, where you pay them $1,000 to the school. There's no curriculum. There's no driver. They get a certificate that they passed the school when they don't know anything about commercial driving. By the way, these are 80,000-pound big rigs. And then they get on American roads, and they hurt the American people. There are the countless Americans that want to drive truck. These are great jobs. They support families. And instead, we have illegals or foreigners getting these jobs, and they're hurting the American people. We are not going to tolerate it at DOT. President Trump said no more. And so we're following his lead to do all we can to get states to comply. One other point, Peter. I wish I had the power and control to take those licenses away in the federal government. I don't. We give this right to the states. So I have to work with the states and as a head of DOT federally to get them to comply with us. But I don't have that control. We've given it to governors and state DOTs, and these are the bad decisions that some of them are making.
And Secretary Duffy, while we have you, this is a little bit of a term, but last question. I want to get your honest opinion about this. We're going to put up a picture. You can sleep in a 6.5-foot long, 25-inch wide bunk bed on Air New Zealand if you take their Auckland to New York route. Do you think U.S. flyers are ready for bunk beds?
Listen, I'll fly all day long, Peter, during the day. I don't mind sitting in any seat back by the bathrooms, back of the plane. But when I fly at night, Peter, I've gotten too old and too gray. If you give me an opportunity at a better price to lay down and sleep on an all-night flight, man, I am going to take it. This is innovation. This is creativity. This is what we want the airlines to do. How can we better serve the needs of the American people? And if customers want it, they're going to continue to build it out. And other airlines are going to take what New Zealand has done and implement it on their airlines. And if it fails because the customers don't like it, well, we won't see any more of this. This is not going to come to America. But I like this option of giving me different tools to get a little cat nap without, putting my hand on my head and trying to hold my head up for an 8-hour midnight flight.
Well, when you are doing the launch for some airline, U.S. airline, that has a bunk bed, and we have a video opportunity to come and get a picture of you on the inaugural flight laying down, we will be there. Sean Duffy, Transportation Secretary, thank you very much.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.